share my screen just to make sure everyone can see my screen, correct? All right. So this is our agenda. There will be some changes to this throughout the meeting. However, if you saw my email, you know that we have a JL, and then we do have a student club coming in around 6:15ish for a Sahas request. So that'll be like really short notice, but we can get through it. But with that being said, I call this meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. I recognize that Acha is present, Aaliyah is present, Joshua is present, Liam is present, Pooja is present, Rahman is present, Siri is present, and Victor is present, as well as ex officio members Candace, Courtney, and Tori, Tony, Rashad, and Dr. Young. With that being said, is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
I move to sorry. I move to accept the agenda for today.
Pooja seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections, so by drawing consent, the agenda for tonight, October 27th, has been approved. Now we can look at the minutes real fast. Just going to scroll through like always. And that is everything from the minutes from last week. So if there's a motion to approve the minutes from October 20th.
Move to approve the minutes from October 20th.
Acha seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections, so by drawing consent, the meeting minutes from October 20th have been approved. And with all of that, we can now move on to our discussion with Dr. Young. Dr. Young, I don't know if you had any documents or presentations that you needed me to share. However, you are free to share your screen if you need to. But if you would like, we can do a quick introduction of everyone on the board so that you can get to know us a little bit, if you would like to.
I would love to. And if we could get screen back, see faces, that would be for those that choose to be on camera. When you did your roll call, I saw everybody, and I think I know most of you. So what I'm here, heard discussion, which I love, and I heard speaker, and I will speak just a little bit, but I hope this will really be two ways. What would be really great so that we can combine, get acquainted with, or continued acquaintance with me hearing. I've been out visiting with student groups on screen, primarily because, as you know, it's really, really hard to connect in these times. So wherever we have intact groups, it's been incredibly helpful for me to be able to get out and just listen to the kinds of things that you're struggling with, the kinds of things you're proud of. One of my roles is just to make sure other people on campus know what you're doing. I know you get great advice from the folks that are sitting in with you as ex officio members and advisors, but I just haven't seen you in a while. And normally I would bump into in the hallways Tuesday night, or just be able to get a question when we're meeting over something that's happening. So I really just want to hear. Maybe what you could do for me is go around, remind your name. So it's Liam, tell me your name again. And then either something that's going really well with the board, something that you all have been struggling with, or just something you think I should know. And it can be, or even just how are you doing? As that general, but add something to your name instead of just an introduction. And I know we have 20 minutes, but this has to be speed. Is it your custom to leave up agenda?
Not usually. If I can if you need me to take it off the screen and then.
It would be great if I could
Yeah.
see those choose to be on screen. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. All right. Well, I think we
And
can go ahead and
whoever
get
gets
started.
started, then if you can pick the next person that goes, we'll zip through this.
Yeah. All right. Well, my name is Sierra Dubuque. I'm currently serving as the chair of the finance board. My pronouns are she or hers. And I think one thing that we've really done well with the board this semester is being very efficient with our discussions and getting through all of our agenda items. So we'll just go alphabetical order. So Achi, you're next.
Hello, my name's Pacha. I'm a finance board representative, more bio major, and I agree. As a board, during meetings, like everyone listens to each other. We're very respectful of each other, so things are going well in that regard. And then, yeah, I'd say things are going well for me academically too. So I'm doing all right.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah. I am the vice chair of the finance board. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and today I'm feeling very determined. So yeah.
What are you feeling determined about?
Just to conquer the rest of the day and just get everything I have out of the way, so my weekend can be good and stress free.
I don't think advisors need to go. Sure.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, so I was next. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Young. My name is Joshua Gray. I serve as Vice President for Student Organizations. I use he, him, his pronouns. I would say that one thing about this finance board that I appreciate is the fact that we're able to take something, analyze it, and then ask questions that lead to something greater. That can be great finance board reps or something greater for organizations. That's an aspect of the board that I appreciate.
It's awesome.
Am I next?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Dr. Young. I'm Liam Von Alt. I'm a finance board representative this semester. I think the board's doing fairly great, and we've been able to keep on task during most meetings, and make sure that we're getting everything done. Generally, I'm doing all right this semester. I foolishly took 4 math classes, but that's my own foolishness. And I'm now taking 6 tests this week, so that's my life. But nice.
Please tell me one of them isn't linear algebra.
No. It's goodness. It's applied finite mathematics, discrete, advanced Java, and what's the 4th one? Because the advanced Java uses calculus in it. I can't. Okay, there's a lot of math just running around in my head all the time.
That's good. It sounds like you love it.
Pooja?
Sorry, I was waiting for Masha to go, but then I forgot that it's for the board. Hi, Dr. Young. My name is Pooja Patel. I use she, her, hers pronouns. What I love about this board is that we all are very engaging in our discussions. We have different point of views, and I think that's what helps us bring out the best results out of our discussions. And I am doing well this semester. Like Liam, I'm also taking a lot of math and stat classes. So it's been rough, but it's getting better. I'm getting better at being organized. Thank you.
A concern I keep getting about hard things online, and all from math students.
Yeah, it's hard to learn math online. I won't lie, but I'm learning.
I second that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rahman Liaquat. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I currently serve as a finance board representative. I think what I really appreciate about this board, especially this year, is the fact that we're not just working diligently, but we're also keeping organizations in check. We're updating them on major legislation, and we're keeping them on track of things that we discuss about or discourse about during our sessions.
Say what that means, keeping them on track.
Basically, we have like a liaison system where we kind of have some orgs that we're responsible for. So we all, what's it called, kind of send emails about legislation that we pass, or emails about things that orgs need to get on top of, or things that they should check, or that they need to fill out before some deadlines or anything. So it's just like a way to make sure everyone's getting on top of things, deadlines, or major shifts or changes that we make as a finance board.
Awesome. Thanks.
Siri.
Hi, everyone. I would love for you all to see this tired face, but I unfortunately cannot find my webcam. But anyways, my favorite thing about the board is just everyone is just really kind and there to help everyone. We hold each other accountable, and I find everyone reliable. So it's not like your typical like class team where you're trying to pull everyone to do their part. Everyone willingly does their part, and it makes everything work. I've been doing fine with the quarantine. I think just having a lot of meetings over the summer got me used to like the virtual mode, so everything's been fine.
Hi, Dr. Young. My name is Victor Kende. I'm a finance board representative. I think, yeah, I feel like since this is like a new like setting for the finance board, with everything being online, I feel like we've done a really good job adjusting to the online environment, and like everybody else said, we have different views, and really bring that forward, and it's really helping us as a board. And personally, yeah, this semester has been stressful, but I'm getting through it. So yeah, I feel like I've been great, but yeah.
And are you getting support for the stress?
Uh,
All of you, really, that's a question for. How are you let me ask it differently. How are you getting support for the stress?
for me, I wouldn't really say support, but I try to like figure it out. So sometimes I go on a walk, I go on a jog, I take naps. Sometimes I take multiple naps during the day to like, cool down. So I like study for an hour or maybe two, and then take a 30-minute nap, and then, get back to it. So I don't just do everything all at once. I try to like, pace myself so I don't get stressed out a lot.
How about other folks? What strategies are you using? Oh, wait a minute. Do we have anybody left to go? I just assumed B was the last letter.
There's no other finance board reps to introduce
That's
themselves.
what I thought.
Oh, actually, there might be one other person, Tony, our secretary. If she would like to introduce herself, she can do so now.
Hi, I'm Tony. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm the new secretary, and since I'm still fairly new, I'm still getting used to the board. But one thing I have noticed is that they don't cut corners, and they're really thoughtful in their decision making. And as far as academically, everything's going pretty okay.
Did everyone else lose her?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, I'll say it again. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm still fairly new to the board, and they're really thoughtful in their decision making.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that because it gives me a better sense of what might be going on with you. And I'm wondering what other strategies are people, a lot of stress, some of the answers, just heavy academic loads, but really good connections in this group that seem to be useful to just staying connected to. What kind of strategies are you using? This is something I'm trying to figure out with student leaders that are helping you manage the stress in the online environment. Anybody else? Victor said walks and naps.
I can go. Hi, my name is Siri. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the treasurer. So I think I've told the whole board this by now, but what I do to like manage like not being stressed is I start my day off with a to-do list, and I list out everything I need to do for the day. And I literally just go down the list and do as much as I can, and just being able to like check off things on the list motivates me to keep doing. So that kind of like having a routine keeps me balanced, and
it makes life easier for me. So that way I'm not stressed.
Good. Some from the chat, you've done dependable strengths or color. You've done some instrument that had was it dependable strengths?
Yes, it was the Clifton Strengths test, and executing was like 3 of my like top strengths. And after I took the test,
Then there it came out again. Anyone else have a great tip I should know about as I go about and are trying to help other people who aren't managing as well as some of you seem to be? Because optimism is not the norm for many people.
Yeah, I can go next. I think I do everything that Siri said, and it's a great strategy. It helps me keep on track. And one more thing that I do is I work out religiously. I feel like exercising helps you think better. Not it doesn't only keep you fit physically, but it's also important for mental health, specifically when you're not meeting many people and you're staying home. I think it's important that you exercise. So that's one more thing that I do. And it has miraculously helped me focus better for some reason. So yeah.
Good. So a lot of working out. I see people echoing in the chat.
One thing that
Blue light glasses. I need to get some. Do they work?
They work phenomenal.
One thing I do to I think is really good to kind of minimize stress is to separate where you do your work and where you relax. I think that if you're doing your work in your bedroom or on your bed, you're going to be very stressed because that's the same environment where you're rushing to finish your papers and trying to study. So it's just bad. So I think you should just try to separate that environment. It may be hard for some people, depending on trying to find a quiet place, but if you can just try to separate those two areas or to even get a desk to do your work, that would be really helpful. And I like to do creative writing. I think that's kind of fun for me because I can kind of let out any stress I have or just kind of just let everything out onto the paper. So that's what I do.
Well, thank those. I have a couple of things. I know you have a student group, and so I'm very conscious of your time. Do you have any questions for me or anything you really want me to know before I leave? And then I've got a couple of things I just want to say to you before we wrap up.
Joshua?
Yeah, thank you. This is going to be a question that probably won't have too many answers, but I wanted to ask if you could do a very grand layout of what next semester will look like for student affairs. And I said that probably doesn't have a lot of answers, but I think that in approaching our work, it would be helpful to know what the big picture looks like when it comes to planning for the spring semester.
Yeah. And it's so thoughtful that you asked that. One of the things that really impresses me about all of our governance groups is the way they try to make sure their work is being guided by what's happening at the overall institution. So it's a brilliant question, even though I don't have a brilliant answer. What we're saying right now is obviously we're trying to get through to Thanksgiving, and I'm get to spring, or I will, Josh. So we've been really incredibly both fortunate and grateful for the hard work that students, faculty, and staff have done to keep us open this fall, even if it's much of it's online. Our residences have opened, and the bottom line is it's really, really amazing given we continue been doing random testing on Mondays and Tuesdays. We pull a group of 100. Once we have 2 really low complete population, as you know, we tested on the way into residence. All faculty and staff had to give us tests. Then 2 weeks later, we tested all people on campus in the residences again, all 1,300. And we came up with really low results again. And we have then we're able to go to random tests. So each Monday and Tuesday, we're pulling random or targeted samples. For example, this week we did all the students in face-to-face dance and music classes and emergency health places where people are interacting. So as doing those, they're still all coming negative. So we started to be pretty optimistic about our ability to open up more things in the spring. However, and it's a big, big however, because you're looking at what's happening across the country right now. We are announcing that we're planning to stay pretty much the way we are, continuing to try to make improvements in the classes that still remain frustrating people. We got really good feedback about the training that happened over the summer, and we know that many students are much happier and faculty are doing a better job and they're happier because of the training we did this summer. But we know we've still got problem spots, so we plan to take the next couple of months to keep working on some of those. We are hoping we can open up some more events, but the reality is in the cold weather, the tent is going to have to go, right? It's just, most students are not going to want to go to event activities out and hashtag the tent. So we really don't know what's possible until we see what the prevalence of illness is in Maryland. While we haven't gotten any positives back yet, we have had students reporting symptoms who we've quarantined and isolated as soon as we have that while awaiting tests. And we're pretty sure that as Maryland increases, we're going to see a few more people positive tests on campus. That's just what we planned for from the beginning. What the surprise was is people were doing so well that we had none, right? So if we see the kind of spread in Maryland that other states are seeing, then we will be exactly where we are right now and maybe more closed. So we should know a little bit more by the time people leave in November. And we will definitely know as we work through December and January before you come back. Housing will remain one person per bedroom, 2 people per bathroom. We'll have a small number of people remaining with us in Walker and in our areas, students who struggle with housing, food insecurity, perhaps a home that's multi-generational where we can be part of the solution. So that housing will remain open for January and February. But if I had a crystal ball, which I don't, I would guess that it's going to look a lot like it is right now, only we'll be more organized and better ready to manage it and to leverage new ways of doing things that we've been correcting as we're learning, about the semester. So not a great answer, but it's as much as I can truthfully tell you without under or over promising. You're welcome. Anyone else? Well, if not, and I know you, as I said, you've got a full agenda. Josh's question was a great segue to one of the other reasons I came to. All over the country, people are assessing what's working well, what's not working, and we are always asking students for what works, what doesn't work. And as you know, that little swipe card when we were in person, we're now using IDs because we can get them online to see who shows up where. And we do that because we're trying to figure out what helps people be successful at UBC so we can support more of those activities. There's a new way in statistical analysis that's pretty much throwing everything you know about people. It's kind of like the analytics Google and others use. And so we were able to throw all those data into a big search tool that started to tell us that these things are more likely, a student that does these things are more likely to be really successful, be retained, and graduate than students who don't do these things. And we've been really anxious to get student affairs and student activities information into that database because the earliest analytical attempts pulled all your Blackboard information, right? See how you were doing in classes. And we truly believe that the work people were doing in finance board, in student government, in campus life, in res life, and commuter affairs was making a huge difference to whether students stayed. In fact, as students that's struggling with math classes might hang in there even if they want to drop out because all their friends are here. And so we thought it was probably some way that we were hoping, but we couldn't measure it. So we threw all these data into the pot. The analysis came back. There were 5 critical things. Other than your preparation that you brought with you, right? Good grades at high school, you're more likely to have good grades now, etc. So if you control for all those things, what do you think might have helped students be really successful in the classroom or in the academic side that we could measure? Any guesses? If you yell it out, you can stick it in the chat. Services that students might use on the academic side that help you be successful. Class involvement, absolutely. Up. The more you, what's interesting, the more times you click into Blackboard, and not just click it, but stay in Blackboard and are doing, the people that visit regularly, check in, are part of group discussions, are actually doing better in their classes. But this was pre-COVID, so what else? A service that students might use that helps them be successful. It is the Academic Success Center. It's tutoring. There you go, Pooja. It's tutoring, and specifically math tutoring, that people need a lot more help. So general tutoring was predictive of success, and math tutoring was predictive of success. Involvement in classes is predictive. But then there were 2 things on the student affairs side. Any guesses about students, what predicted whether or not they stay? I'm here talking to you about it. It probably has something to do with what you do. Yes, Joshua. Students that were involved in 1 or more student organizations and students who attended any university event, from athletics to a student org event to the kinds of things that Campus Life or Commuter Affairs or I3B, I'm learning names, I3B do, were all told us that students are likely to be detained. So if you show up for your classes and you get help when you're not doing well, and you're involved in clubs and organizations and in 10 things, it's really saying that our more involved students are the most likely to stay and be connected and work through the struggles. And we're seeing that's really true during COVID too. So I wanted to thank you for the important work that you're doing. And it's so comforting to me to hear how much we're struggling with each other, different ideas, different perspectives, coming to a consensus. Could you please go around government, just so people be talking with each other and doing what you do? When I'm having trouble with COVID, or I want to turn off the TV because of yet another sort of political squabble that's in the air, people say, how are you making it through? And my stress thing is getting on these talks with all of you, because you guys remind me that a better future is coming and that you are learning how to do the things that many of our leaders in society are not doing very well. And you're applying that to some of the things that are most important to our students here. So I want you to think about the work you're doing for the rest of the semester. You aren't helping groups with an event. You aren't helping groups figure out how to stay connected during COVID. You're helping students stay in school and graduate and feel like they belong. And I can't think of any more important work to be doing during COVID. So I want to thank you for hanging in here, for showing up on these video screens at the end of long days when you've been in video screen classes, and showing up on or off screen to do really important work. Because you're showing here, other student orgs are able to connect and bring students together. And I'll give you one example with what's happening in Nigeria right now. Some of you may or may not watch world news, but there's really some very challenging situations in Nigeria. And unfortunately, in some ways, they mimic at an even deeper level some of the things that are happening with police. Shot into a crowd of protesters, killing many, many people, or at least over 10. The last time I looked, it was a count of 12, but it may be different. And the protests continue. And for some of our students, it was a very, very difficult period to hear, particularly if they had close ties but for many of our students. And the biggest thing they said is we just are having trouble finding ways to get people together. And so Jasmine in our I3B was able to reach out to ASA and to see how do we think about helping students get together. Those clubs and organizations form such a valuable service. They're fun. They're also where we're reminded that we found our people, that we belong, and that things will be better, not only at UMBC, but in the world again someday, and that it's preparing leaders to take over those new roles. So I just thank you so much, because you're my hope, and you are the people that are doing the work that's keeping our communities connected. And I can't tell you that even though I don't see you every week, I hear what you're doing. I haven't talked to a story that doesn't talk about some of the things that they're asking for. I had a conversation this morning with fundraisers about, do we need more money? And then the academic clubs in Oregon talking. So I hear about your work all the time, and I just wanted to show up and say thank you. So if you do need anything, I know you've got amazing people that are with you every week, but as I know more about what our plans are, I'll make sure they know. And just please know that you are seen and you are appreciated. And I hope you are getting something back out of it that lets you manage your stress and keep those connections going for you too. I hope the rest of your meeting goes well, and the next talkers are shorter.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Young, for coming in tonight. Very insightful for me. Hopefully it's the same for everyone else on our board.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right. We are going to go back to sharing my screen again, and Kai is here to talk through the JL. Hopefully you all had a chance to look at it when I sent an email, but first I have to amend the agenda. So I move to amend the agenda to add JL 10-2021 and its subsequent discussion and voting. Here's your seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections by general consent. I'm going to change the agenda, or Tony's going to do it for me. Thank you so very much, Tony. To add JL 10-2021. If you type that out, I can put the link on it, Tony. I can't type. It's JL 10-2021. So usually we keep the year that we're working on, the school years. But with that being said, now that we have it on the agenda, we can go ahead and talk about it. And Kai, you are here to very graciously discuss what this is about. So you have the floor.
Thanks, Sierra. Hello to everybody. For those who we haven't really met on a familiar basis, my name is Kai. I am the speaker for the Senate, and a group of us created this GL for an initiative that we are planning on doing. We're planning on providing free menstrual products for campus, and we're both planning a pilot program as well as a systematic long-term solution. In terms of our pilot program that we're looking to do for this upcoming spring in partnership with Residential Life as well as RSA. We are planning to allocate $300 from the initiative fund to purchase 1,000 count of menstrual products for this initiative. What else? Yes. We are. I can go on and on and on, but before I do, are there any more questions? Are there any questions before I really delve in deeper?
We can enter a period of questioning if the board would choose.
I move to enter a period of questioning.
Pooja seconds in the chat. However, Joshua asked to be recognized. I don't know if that was or prior to period of questioning, but Josh, you can go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if there's more to explain about the JL, I would like to hear that before questioning, but we've already moved, so that's completely fine.
All right, well, Pooja seconded in the chat. If there are any objections, please let me know. I see here no objections about drawn consent. We are entering a period of questioning on JL 10-2021. So if there are any questions for Kai, please let me know in the chat. Rahman?
So it mentions that the vendor is Flow. Is there a specific reason you chose this vendor, or did you look at many different ones before deciding on this one?
Yes, we looked at many, and OnFlow seemed to be the most cheapest and provides the most amount of product, which we were really surprised at. It's going to be around $300 for 1,000 count, 500 for each pads and tampons included. And I don't know if this matters. It's 100% organic. I don't know what that means, but but yes, the reason why we chose OnFlow was because it was the most efficient manner to use money.
Acha?
Hi, I was gonna ask if this would like extend to like the apartment communities, so like the Walker Avenue like apartment center or whatever it's called. I'm not really familiar with the name. You already nodded. So.
Yes. So I recently had a meeting with Dr. John Fox this past Monday. He's the director of ResLife, and we essentially have to submit a proposal to him in order to continue. But the idea is to start the pilot with 5 residential buildings and the apartment community center, and that's where that's how we're going to include the apartment, the apartment side of things, the community center.
Joshua?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. I know that you mentioned that you've been working with RSA, I believe, and Residential Life. Have you spoken to UHS about this? And then my second question is, how will the products be disseminated? So will it be similar to condoms in residential halls, where it's just a bin at the front desk and you kind of pick up what you need and then go and do your business? Or are they going to be on the floors? Like, what does that look like?
Yes, so that's a great idea. I didn't think to reach out to UHS, but thank you for giving me that idea. I will be reaching out to UHS now. As far as distribution, initially we were going to place them in the restrooms themselves, with like either providing the dispensary or like kind of like a stand to put it on. However, in our last meeting, we have decided to put it with the desk staffers, for a few reasons. Because there's a stigmatization. That's a word. There's stigma against asking for menstrual products. Of how like embarrassing that can be, and we're trying to create this inclusive space to move away from that, taboo, as well as this will also prevent students from taking like the whole, by taking everything essentially. It's an easier way of distributing and like creating like equal access.
Pooja?
So I just wanted to know, like, how will students know that this product is available for them? Will you be like putting the posters of it into the restrooms or outside the restrooms, or how are you going to promote this facility that we're trying to provide?
Yes. Okay. We're doing a lot of outreach. So We've met with various student organizations throughout campus. Our most recent conversation was with the Society of Women Engineers, as well as Phi Sigma Phi, a sorority group, as well as the Retriever. They are planning on writing an article about this initiative. And we are also implementing a fundraiser slash online drive to have student stakeholder within it, so students themselves can be a part of this initiative. And that's going to be broadcasted throughout social media up until the spring semester. As well as we are putting in Maria, our other senator that's working on this initiative. She is speaking to ECTA. I don't remember their official title role, but essentially they will be speaking with ECTA to put this initiative idea into our next monthly newsletter, as well as we are putting in a comms request form so they can create a graphic. So that way, in the spring, when we do implement this, there will be like a graphic that will say, here are some free menstrual products. Take one if need. Take one or leave one. We're still coming up with like what to put on the graphic, but we will be putting out a graphic with it. Yeah, thanks.
Candace?
So you said something that sort of caught my attention, which was, and correct me if I misheard, around keeping the menstrual products at like the front desks. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, it was an idea that was thrown actually earlier today when we met together.
Okay.
The initial plan was to keep it in the restroom themselves and have like a dispensary there. But we had that conversation today, so.
Okay. So my I guess the question I pose to you is that if someone is in need of menstrual products, and then have to go to the front desk, right? And I want to applaud the language that you use around and have been using around who needs menstrual products, because it's not only cis women who may need menstrual products, and cis is short for cisgendered. So I guess my question or concern is around someone having to go to the front desk to get these free menstrual products, and maybe they are trans or genderqueer, and then they have to go get these menstrual products from a person or a place where someone might see them, and then that is unintentionally outing them. That was the question I would ask for you all as a group to consider when you are thinking about where to place these. I think having them in general, and I know you've talked earlier about having them in gender neutral bathrooms, having them in the gender neutral bathrooms in the public bathrooms in the residence halls. And so that is, I guess that's the question I ask for you to consider, because I think I understand, I know that there's a risk of, if you put them in the bathroom, someone may just take all of them, right? And then, so that, having them at the front desk would limit how many people take. But then also maybe there are people who might need them, who are genderqueer or trans and don't want to out themselves, and so they don't go and get them. Those are the things I was thinking about, and so I pose them to you as things to consider.
Oh, thanks, Candace. I'll definitely reach back with Wendy, Maria, and Julius with that.
Aja?
I also just wanted, my point was going to be mimicking what's it called, Candace's, that having it at the front desk could be an issue because people might feel uncomfortable. Because I know even with having the condoms at the front desk, I know it still made people feel like, they're being like watched, especially if like you have to ask for it too. That can also add to the layer of uncomfortability of like surrounding that. So that was going to be my question, but we've already touched on that.
Aaliyah?
So I have a question and a kind of a suggestion. So for my first one, you said that this is going to be like a trial period. So like after the like trial is over, like are you guys going to come back and like reevaluate like this are you just going to like reevaluate and like try to continue it and like just see what's working and what's not to like move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I am also delegating a group of FYAs currently, and we are looking at a long-term solution at this as well. The long-term solution is to get this into gender-neutral restrooms campus-wide. We have been in conversation with, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher their names. Joel something. Joel and yes. Joel and Adrius. They're with the facilities management and we talked about implementing it in the commons as well. There were a few obstacles when in speaking about this initiative. One that really kind of stuck with me that I'm still trying to figure out what to do is the legality issues in terms of ABM contracts. The initial idea was that ABM could help restock since they're already in the restrooms restocking toiletries. This is something that we could add, but that's a whole legality issues in terms of contracts. So we're still in talks about that, but that's our plan. That's what we are currently with in the long-term solution in terms of like fall 2021 and so forth.
Okay, and my suggestion was also maybe if you could like get something to be on my UMBC because everybody kind of sees that, so people would know about it. And then my other suggestion, I don't know if this would be like a good suggestion, but like to like kind of not to like for the issue of like not outing anybody or like just not making anyone feeling uncomfortable like for picking up their menstrual products, maybe if like I don't know if you could talk to like the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, I hope I said the name right, but maybe like because they're kind of like supposed to be an office for everyone and to like the safe space, I feel like maybe if like there was like it could be like a station where people could like come pick it up and they're not gonna be labeling, I don't know, but I don't know if that would be a good solution, but yeah, just to throw that out there.
Yeah, definitely. I will be reaching out with the Diversity, Excellence, and Inclusion. I'm writing all these notes down, so please, thank you so much for all these suggestions.
Rahman?
Yes. Firstly, I think you've already mentioned this, but I want to make sure. I think you mentioned that the products are available for everyone and not just residential students. Is that true?
Yes. So for our pilot program, since we see this, we see that we're in a pandemic right now and that most of the students on campus are mostly comprised of residential students. So that's our target population for this pilot program. But once we initiate post-pandemic, it will be available for not only undergraduate students, but graduate students, faculty and staff, basically everybody. The idea is try to make this as inclusive and available for everybody.
And what's it called? Once again, you mentioned that it's like a test run right now for residential students, but how are you planning on making sure that the products they remain available in the residential halls? Like, are the decks receptionists like making sure that the products are still there, or are they reporting back to you to make sure that they actually have the products stocked, or how's that process going to look like?
Oh, in terms of restocking?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. So we Myself and the FYs, as well as the other senators, we are putting together kind of like a schedule, like a list of people. For our pilot, since it's mostly going to be student driven, it'll be restocked by us on a weekly basis. It's really helpful that Julius, our other senator that's working on this initiative, he is a residential student, so he's more has that, I don't know, more access to being on the residential side. But we are playing we are creating a schedule basically with all of us, and also some outreach from student organizations such as Phi Sigma Phi. I believe that's the correct Greek letters, but one of the sororities are very interested in participating in this scheduling as well. So Phi Sigma Sigma. Oh, close.
And one more thing, I'm sorry, to kind of add on to what Candace mentioned earlier. I think that if you do end up having the products with the desk staffers, I think conversations need to be had with the desk staffers beforehand. So maybe, I think you mentioned that you talked to John Fox, but having what's it called? I don't know if you can individually go and talk to all the desk staffers, but at least send like an email or something to make sure to let them know about strict guidelines that they have to follow in terms of giving out products or and everything else that Candace kind of outlined earlier.
Yeah, great point. So that's one of the reasons why we're drafting up this formal proposal to Dr. Fox. And we are also going to meet with Paisley Martin sometime in the following week. And the purpose of that is to understand like adding stuff to their contract and things for the spring. So yes.
Audra?
I had just it was I had well, it was like a suggestion for like how you could run the do the passing out of the products. I was thinking it could be a system that's kind of like how we receive like mail packages where you just like scan your ID, but like there'd be a form that you could fill out prior, and maybe it would go to the front desk and say this person has requested 2 pads, 2 tampons, and then they just had to come and there'd be a number, because like how it goes with the mail is that when your mail is received, they assign a number to that package, and then you have to go down and be like, I have a package, it's number 563, and then they find the package, they scan your card, and then that's it. So not really, no discussion has to be had, no questions has to be asked. They just hand them over, and then the packages could be like, if they're non-discreet. Yeah, a suggestion.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. I will talk back with the other senators about that. But good suggestion.
Oh yeah.
Since you guys are like still in like the piloting or about to be, so like do you guys have like a way to like track like a number of pads or menstrual products are being like used in like each like building, and like how many, so like when you like go on to further stages you kind of know how much you need?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the great thing about the idea behind the pilot program is understanding the management and working out all the kinks. So when restocking it on a weekly basis, we can record exactly how much is left over and then take it from there. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it's all about data. I'm not good with numbers, but yeah.
Liam?
Yeah, my only concern about this is that you said it's a pilot program that you're going to run with a few other students. What happens when you guys graduate? If it hasn't gotten out of pilot yet and moved on to being an official thing for the university, are the students like FYAs that you're gonna train on this and so they can continue to run it, or what's your plan there?
Perfect question. Love it. So earlier you mentioned that me and a group of 6 other FYAs are working on the long-term solution. And I really want to give a quick shout out to Shubi. She's been an awesome FYA in terms of student organization reach out and handling the whole retriever article thing. So there is going to be continuation with the FYAs because there has been a passion behind it with them.
Yep, awesome. That's yeah, just making sure there's a continuity plan for a pilot program. But yeah, okay, that's all I had.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we really want to keep this as sustainable as possible and be in collaboration with facilities management.
Yeah, honestly, this is such a great idea. I am honestly a little shocked it hasn't been implemented yet by the university. Which is why I'm excited for this, honestly.
Yeah. The the Women's Center currently does offer this program, but it's through their Women's Center's office, which because during the pandemic, which has been moved to the bookstore, I believe, the UMC bookstore, and they still offer free menstrual products there. But I want to increase the accessibility to that. Yes.
Pooja?
So this might be a early time to ask this question, but I just wanted to know if the pilot program is a success, are you guys planning to continue this program on a large scale by collaborating with Women's Center or any other centers or department on campus, or will it be SGA mainly responsible for doing so? I wanted to know this because SGA keeps on changing every year. We have elections and different team of people comes in. So I think it's better if a department or center is collaborated or connected with this initiative to just kind of make sure that this is continued even after maybe like 4 or 5 years, because it's really a great initiative. Like, this is something college should have thought about it, like universities should have done it on their own, but hey, we're doing it. So just wanted to know your future plans on this.
Definitely. Perfect. Yeah, so when speaking to other departments, it's always a budgetary issue. So I do definitely, yeah, I want to echo what Aaliyah says. I do echo with you on that. So the idea behind this is having SGA like get the gears start turning and then slowly transitioning it to the university. We're still working with that with Joel and I can't, I'm butchering their names. I'm sorry if you're watching. But oh my, but yes. We yes, as I said earlier, the FYs and I are still, communicating with that in terms of facilities management. An idea that sustainability wise is trying to see if we can I'm speaking with Mershad about in what ways we can add this to future guiding docs, such as the plan of organization or like, so FYA returning members and guiding docs are two efficient ways for thinking of creating a sustainable system.
Pooja?
So speaking of SGA, just out of curiosity, is there a way to make a particular initiative permanent, like to have funds for that in our budget permanently?
Candace has a response to that.
Yes, it's, creating a new line item in your budget, so that it is basically, if you it's hard coded into your budget, right? so that every year you have a certain amount of money for this initiative. And that's how initiatives become permanent, is by they're getting worked into your budget as a program that you do, and that doesn't have to be sort of like money doesn't have to be I don't know what the word is for, wrangled for every year.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but senators have the power to adjust line items, right? But can they also create line items?
Yes, so you can adjust the budget. Oh, I have to check. If you can add a line item into the budget, I'd have to check. But you can adjust line items, yes.
Yeah. Well, Siri and Rashad will be in contact with you in January, February.
All right, are there any more questions for Kai? If not, we can go ahead and end this period of questioning. If there's a motion to end.
And move to end this period of questioning.
Future seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections, so by your own consent, we are ending this period of questioning on JL 10-2021. If there is a motion to enter a period of discussion, please do so.
I move to enter a period of discussion.
Joshua seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections, so by your own consent, we are entering a period of discussion on JL 10-2021. So if it could be recognized, as always, please leave your recognition in the chat. Joshua?
Yes, thank you. I have two things to add to the discussion. I think that one, I would like to see a conversation with UHS be sparked first before this happens, especially because it is it definitely, in my opinion, falls under their purview. And so I think that if we're doing these big moves around the health of students on campus, they should be brought into the fold. And also, I would like moving forward past the pilot program, but during the pilot phase, I would also love to see the possibility of shifting this from SGA to UHS, just because I think that around the question of continuity, your program standing, they would have the most capacity to make that happen. So that's just one thing I want to throw out there. And then another thing that I would like to throw out is the amount that's going to be allocated towards this, and then the amount of products that's being purchased. So I did a little bit of like rough math. So with this amount, it would basically be like 166 units per building. When I say units, I mean like pads and tampons. And then that taken into consideration, like how often these products need to be changed out for people that use them. I think that it's a small number, and my fear is that we can like meet the immediate need with it, but even in the pilot program, like if someone's going to need it once, they're probably going to need it again and again. So potentially for that entire week or however long that cycle may be on for. So like that's my fear, not being able to meet those needs beyond that 1-2 days that they may be needing them. So I honestly would like to see more money allocated towards this. Even if it doesn't get used, I think that like these products, I looked it up, they normally have a shelf life of like 3 to 5 years. So I would like, for me, that's not, it's willing to make that investment, you know, like for me, it's willing to make that investment if they are able to stay in someone's office in some system for marketing or managing them for that 3 to 5 years. Then also I would like to see money allocated to the storage of them. So that's, again, upping that price from 300 to something larger. But I would hate for these sanitary products just to be thrown around in someone's cardboard box. I think that it needs to be stored somewhere a bit more clean than that, so that the integrity of them can remain intact. So those are just some of my points I want to throw out there.
John?
So based on what Joshua said, I think a question raised to me is that are we providing these products just as a measure of, a case of emergency, or will it be more like satisfying a necessity?
Oh, do I have to press me?
Go ahead, Kai.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, the idea was this to be more of an emergency type base. So take one if you need it, and like we're not providing it to everybody there. It's just more of an emergency type situation, like what you mentioned.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So I think in that case, the communication that's made, I think it will be helpful to include the point that it's something that's for the emergency and it's not something that is being provided as a necessity by SGA or as an university, just so that people know that this is not something they can expect from us to be given to them on the regular basis, because if we provide it as a necessity, then the cost is going to look very, very different than it would for emergency. So thank you for answering that, Kai.
Siri?
Okay, yeah, I was trying to like zoom in and look at the legislation. So I was seeing like your cost breakdown. And is this for like per month or?
So initially this was supposed to be implemented for the month of November.
Oh, okay.
However, it got pushed back to spring due to this proposal being offered to Dr. Fox, and the fact that students are going to be removed from campus after Thanksgiving break. It's just going to be for the month of the spring, and then take it from there.
So wait, you're trying to start this initiative in the spring?
When in the spring?
No, I'm saying, so you are trying to start in the spring, like February, whenever we get back to campus?
Correct.
Okay. And this is going to be like a recurring monthly fee, or?
As of now, this is just for the first month.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you.
Sure.
I want to quickly go off of Pooja's point. I think that in my head, I would hate to be the one to determine whether or not needing a pad or a tampon is an emergency, just because when people are in residential halls, most of the time, like, they don't have cars, they don't have vehicles to be able to get to stores. So who are we to say that because of your lack of transportation or because of your lack of the financial means to go out and purchase these things, that you can't get it? So I think that, like, that becomes shaky territory, because, like, we know across the board people are going to need this, right? But to say that we can determine whether or not it's an emergency, I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Candace?
Okay, so I think to that point, and I was going to say, sorry, my brain just stopped really working. So to that point, what I was going to say was, like, I think that the availability of it and the communication of the program can be like, take what you need, right? And understanding that there's like trying to communicate the concept of there's always someone behind you that may need it as well, right? Um, and so that's around social norming, and that's around people understanding that this is a community program and we need to take what we need and leave what we don't, and that's about having a community mindset. And there's always going to be people who don't have that, right? Take a penny, leave a penny, all that kind of stuff. And so, I think if that's how you present it to people for the 90%, 95% of people are going to do it, right? I need a tampon right now. Okay, I'm going to get one. I need a pad right now. Okay, I'm going to get one. I need a pad now, and I need 2 more for the rest of the day because I don't have any and I can't get to the store. Or I know that I can come here and reliably there'll be 1 or 2 or 3 for me for the day. So that. And then I think the other thing is that, I'm going to say this as gently and kindly as I can, because I'm going to try and be that way. So this is a jail. It doesn't have to be a jail. They brought this as a jail, and so they're bringing this to the finance board. But they could do this as an SL, and they wouldn't need for finance board to sign off on it. I don't know. No, that doesn't have to be a jail.
I think, Candace, I can support what you're trying to say here. So I think what Candace is alluding to here also is that it's not the finance board's job to nitpick. Nitpick might be the wrong term. That might be a little rough. But the point of the JL is more so to allocate the funds versus to deep dive into the program. And I'm sure that if you all wanted to give ideas and stuff too, that Kai would be more than willing to talk to you about. Kai, I'm speaking for you. So if you aren't willing, you can just be like, Tori, stop talking. But that it's more so of an allocation of funds than to really go through and go through the whole program in such deep dive, because we're already how far past time now as it is. And we do have an org here too. And yes.
With that being said, are there any other discussion points? I agree with Aaliyah. All right. I move to end this period of discussion on JL 10-2021.
Second.
Are there any objections? I see or hear none. Objections by general consent. We're ending this period of discussion on JL 10-2021. Is there a motion to approve it for voting?
I move to approve JL 10-2021 for voting.
Second.
Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections by general consent. JL 10-2021 has been approved for voting. As always, please either vote in the chat. And with that, all members for. All members opposed? I think that's everyone. All right. So the results are 8-4, 1 opposed, 0 abstaining, my bad, and 0 not present. And this has passed this day, October 27th, 2020. So congratulations, Kai, and to everyone who wrote it. You can stay for the rest of the meeting, Kai, if you want to, but I'm not going to hold you to it. Again, congratulations on passing this. If you have any questions for us, I guess now would be a good time, but if not, you're free to go.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sierra, for having me, and I very appreciate it. And have a good rest of your meeting.
Thank you. You too. We do have an org with us tonight. It is AICHE. And so we do have a Sahas request that we are reviewing on a very short notice based off of some timeline issues. So I move to amend the agenda to add, I guess it's FBLO 9-2021, and the request is FBBR-158. And that was a motion, but if I need to restate that, that is totally fine. Here's your seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see here no objections, so I draw consent. We are amending, or I am amending the agenda to add FBLO 9-2021 and FBR-158 for AICHE's Sahas request. So while I'm typing this up, if Aaron or Asma could discuss a little bit about their request, the nature of it, and why they're requesting what they are to the board real fast, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? All right, cool. So my name's Erin. I'm the treasurer with AICHE, and we're submitting a Sahas request to request funding to send some students of ours to a annual student conference for all the students within AICHE, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. This is something we originally had funding for through the semesterly budget allocation, but there was some miscommunication in terms of recognizing that it was now a virtual event. So we had lost the funding. That's why we're asking for it again and why the timeline's a little off. So thank you for having us for this meeting, by the way. I really appreciate it. But so we're requesting this funding and particularly for a Jeopardy team that has recently qualified to compete nationally in a Jeopardy competition at this event. They placed first in the regionals in order to qualify against 14 different teams. So we believe that they have a pretty good chance of doing well in this competition at the national level and making a name for UMBC. However, as you can see in our request, we also asked to send 7 other students, making a total of 11 students for $605, with the registration fee being $55 per person. So along with this registration fee, and rather than just sending people to the competition, they can also take part in all of this student conference, along as the full AICHE conference for all professionals and students the week following the student conference. So you really get a lot of opportunities to participate in different events outside of just the student conference. So 4 of the other 7 students we want to send are on our second Jeopardy team that did not qualify for the national level. It's composed more so of juniors than seniors. So we want to expose them to the national competition to better prepare them for competition next year and give them the chance to compete at a higher level. We also want to send what we call our ChemiCar team leads. So another competition at this event is ChemiCar, where you build a chemically powered car that competes against other schools' cars. So we would like to send them to this competition, as this is a program that we're growing within our community, to give them more exposure to the events so they can learn more about it and bring information back to help our community grow in that aspect. And then we would also like to send our president and vice president, because they have some really great workshops that would help us grow our organization. And attending them, we would be able to learn more about different events we could host and just different workshops that we could have within our community that we could bring to our students. And that's about it. There's any questions?
Yeah, so we're going to enter a period of questioning. So Siri, hold that thought, if that is a question. But if there is a motion to enter a period of questioning on FBR-158.
Sorry, a motion to enter a period of questioning for FBBR 158.
Pooja seconds in the chat. Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections. So by general consent, we are entering a period of questioning on FBBR-158. And Siri, you may go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted some clarification because looking at your cost breakdown, I see $715 request for both teams, the president, vice president, Kemi Carr, 2 ALC members. But in your application, I think you requested $605. So I just want to clarify, are you requesting for $605 or $715?
Yeah, we're requesting for 605. I guess that's something we accidentally forgot to take out when we were editing the proposal. Sorry for the confusion.
Oh no, thank you.
No problem.
Tori.
Hi, Aaron. Oh, there's my mic. There we go. Hi, Aaron. Could you clarify for me really quickly? I know that you said the ChemiCar would be part of this. Is ChemiCar happening virtually?
Oh yeah, that's still happening virtually. They're doing more so like a poster thing rather than having like cars race against each other, I believe. So it would be people presenting how they made their cars, and it would be like a good way for us to get different ideas that we could elaborate based off our designs that we have right now.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
All right, are there any other questions for AICHE about their requests? Going once? Going twice? All right, I'm not seeing or hearing any other questions for the club at this time, so I'm going to assume that it is okay to go ahead and end this period of questioning. So if there is a motion to end period of questioning.
I motion to end period of questioning for FBBR 0-158.
Second. Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections, so by general consent, we are ending this period of questioning on FBBR-158. With that, is there a motion to enter a period of discussion on FBBR-158?
I motion to enter a period of discussion for FBBR-158.
Second. Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections by general consent. We are entering a period of discussion on FBBR-158. For reference, this is a period of discussion for finance board members and their ex officio advisors as well. However, if you do hear anything that has been misconstrued or maybe confused on the finance board members' part, then the club can come in to explain and clarify. With that being said, Siri.
Yeah, so I was trying to quickly check the date because I was looking at the reviews and it says they're like outside of their what's it called? What am I trying to say? Outside of the
deadline.
But so for like, are we still allowed to fully fund this or we have to partially fund this? Is my question making sense?
Yeah. Candace?
So your funding guidelines state that your typical deadline is 30 days for anything under $1,000. And then there's also a stipulation there that says you can, choose to ignore that, but that you also will not, there's no wiggle room on this. You definitely will not fund anything that is submitted with less than 15 days to go to the event. So the 30-day guideline is pretty firm, but you also can make exceptions to it. The 15-day guideline is in stone.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Victor?
I think this is probably a question to candidates or Tori or Kathleen. So it says for their president and vice president, I believe they're going to get like information for the club and for the general members. So are we allowed to like fund? I don't know if it conflict with like general body type stuff that we don't fund.
Victor, can you ask that again? I don't know if I fully understood. Are you asking, is it okay to fund
For the
conferences
president.
for specific
No,
members?
for like specific members. I'm not talking about like the team that's competing in the competition. I'm talking about like the president and vice president.
Yeah, because I mean, like in this case, it's not like every. I mean, let me find a better way that's not more confusing to explain it. With conferences and competitions, normally when groups are coming in to request funding, they already know who they're going to send regardless. So short answer, yes, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. Apart from that, I feel like it's a really good event, and I hope they get funded. And good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Are there any other discussion points, comments, questions, concerns? Siri shares the same sentiments, Victor, in the chat. If there are no more points of discussion, thoughts, concerns, comments, then we can end this period of discussion. If there's a motion.
I move to end the period of discussion for FPPR 158.
Second.
Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections, so by general consent, we are ending this period of discussion on FPBR-158. Now we can move on to our legislation, and if there is a motion to approve FBL 09-2021 for voting, please make your motion now.
I move to approve SBL 09-2021.
Second.
Are there any objections? I see or hear no objections. By general consent, FBL 09-2021 has been approved for voting, and it's being introduced to us tonight. As always, leave your vote in the chat, and with that being said, all representatives for.
Hey Sierra, my laptop's frozen, but I vote for. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm on my phone.
All right. With that, it is 8-4, 0 against, 1 abstaining, and 0 not present. And this document has passed this day, October 27th. Congratulations to AICHE for getting funded for this. I will reach out to you in the coming week for next steps regarding reaching out to SABSC and all that good stuff. But again, congratulations and thank you for taking the time on on such short notice to be with us tonight. We canceled our meeting next week, and that would put you in a rough position on November 10th to have that turnaround. So again, congratulations. Thank you for coming. You do not have to stay for the rest of the meeting. However, you are free to.
Yeah, thank you so much for fitting us in and like taking us on such short notice. Like we really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for approving.
All right.
Yeah, hi, I'm the president, Asma Hassan. I just want to say thank you real quick. It was actually so exciting that we get to go now because
Yeah.
it's the first time we get to go to nationals and it's really exciting. So, thank you everyone. This is like really exciting. So we appreciate you.
Yes, good luck to you all at your Jeopardy. And I hope you guys have a great time there.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
All right, I'll see you around.
See ya. Thank you.
All righty. I don't think, is there anything else left to add to the agenda before we move on to our video? Yes, no, maybe so. All right, I'm not seeing anything. So we can go ahead and film this video. If you don't remember, Mershad brought it up last week. He just wants a video of me waving, you guys waving on your cameras and all that jazz. I understand if you aren't in a position to share your screen, but if you do have the opportunity to for like 5 seconds, a minute maybe, I would really appreciate that. And I'll stop sharing my screen so that we can get all of you together on the big screen. If my computer will cooperate. All right. I'll let everyone take a moment to get their screens and their backgrounds in check. I have to go grab the person who's going to film this. Be right back.
Mershad, where are you?
Anne Arundel Community College lecture.
I was like, that is a lot of can lights. Like, you're not at a house. You know? I was like, I don't know where you are. Okay.
All right. Does everyone who have a camera ready to go? This is great. I love seeing all your faces. We need to do
I was trying really hard to get Duke on this. Come here, Dudley.
All right. Is everyone good? Just quick thumbs up since I can see all of you now. Yay. All right. So the way this is going to work, it's just going to be me waving at my mother who has my phone right now, and then it's just going to pan to all of you guys waving. So I guess once I start waving and looking over and like look at you guys, I'll get in your positions. Hopefully we can do this in one take. Candace? No? You're just...
I was getting in position.
Okay. All right. All right. We're going to go ahead and do it now. So... All right, we are all good. That was a great shot, everyone. Thank you.
Tell your mom we said thanks.
They say thank you. She says you're welcome, everyone. All right.
Wait, I couldn't be in it because of my laptop being frozen. I extremely apologize. Can you give me like 1 minute? Because I think it's rebooting.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. We got all the time in the world.
Just 1 minute. Thank you.
So how's everyone doing?
How's everyone doing? I've been thinking about getting my eyebrows microbladed. What do you think?
Ooh, you totally should. I heard that's really worth it.
Tori's like, no, don't do it.
Oh, I would.
I've been watching videos on Instagram because, I don't have anything else going on. But then you have to get really close to somebody, and I don't know if I could do that.
You'll wear a mask and they'll wear a mask. It'll be fine.
I still don't know if I can be that close to someone. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, like, I don't like to be that close to the people I do know. Pre-pandemic. So, yes, Mershad.
Oh, I had some action items that I want to... So I did have some action items that I want to go through. Now that we're waiting, should we do it now to preserve time, or do you want me to keep it for announcements?
We can go over now.
Okay.
Until Rahman gets his video back up.
All right. So first and foremost is our involvement as SGA in the COVID-19 Planning Coordinating Committee. If you did not know, the planning committee is starting to meet for spring semester and just to start planning for how the semester is going to run next semester based on the feedback that we received from students, staff, and faculty for the fall semester. There is about 14 work groups. Let me share my screen actually real quick with that information. Can you guys see this? Perfect. So there's about 14 work groups that need student representations. Some people from Senate actually already signed up for them. I know this isn't something that Finance Board usually does, sitting on shared governance committees, but this is free for all. This is for every student leader that is willing to provide an undergraduate perspective regarding decisions that are being made that affect the undergraduates next semester. So if any of these seem appealing to you and you would like to sit on them, it's a super low commitment. It's a super low time, low commitment. Wow, that doesn't make any sense. It's a super, so it's low commitment. It's maybe like one meeting every 2 weeks or every week. And you'll basically be making recommendations along with faculty and staff that sit on these committees to the university. Does anyone have any questions about it? The meeting times and days aren't set yet. The way that we're going about it is that I actually reached out to the chairs of the coordinating committee, and they don't even know the meeting times and days of these committees. So the way that we are going is that as long as you're interested in them, we'll put you in contact with the chair. And if the time doesn't work for you, if you have overlapping commitments, then we can work on finding you another committee that you can work on. But for now, I actually also included this in a general WebEx Team Space chat. So if you guys want to take a look at it, whatever seems interesting to you, you can put your name down and I will put your recommendations into the chairs and they will contact you. Do you guys have any questions regarding that?
Acha does.
Yes.
Is it like only one SGA member per student governance committee? Or
No, so there's not a set limit, but the way we're doing it, just so we can combat those scheduling conflicts, is that you can sign up for up to 2 committees, and also for each committee, there can be up to 2 undergraduate representatives, if that makes any sense. So you see how Julius has done 2. You could do either one of these, or you could do one that no one else is doing. Any other questions?
I'm not seeing anyone else in the chat, Mershad. Okay. I personally don't have anything, so.
No problem. It's super straightforward, low commitment, and if you wanna contribute to the planning process, which I strongly recommend that you do, they really need undergraduate perspective and points of views in the decisions that we're making. And just keep in mind that you were elected to represent the students in the shared governance structure of UMBC. So this can do that justice. But if you have any other questions regarding this, just reach out to me and I'll provide you with more information about it. I see that Rahman has his video on, so I'm gonna stop sharing this and we can do the video again.
Thank you so much for waiting on me. I extremely apologize.
All right, I'm gonna let everyone like take another 2 seconds, see if their video is back on, if they can. Joshua, Acha, Tony, Siri, do you guys want to have your cameras on?
Can you see me?
I cannot. Oh, now I can. Okay. All right. Now that everyone has their cameras on, all right, I'll just start waving, then she'll pan to you guys again. So get ready. We're checking it.
Props to your mom. Thank you.
All right. Yep, we're good. Thank you again. All right. Thank you, everyone who had their cameras on for that. Real quick, real short. You guys can see my screen, right? All right. So next we got Finance Board check-in. We usually skip this. If you have anything pressing to let us know about, now's the time. If not, we can go ahead and skip. Are we good to skip? All right. So now we're moving on to announcements. If you have any announcements, please let me know in the chat. Rashad?
Sorry, I had two more things. So Election Extravaganza is an event that SGA and GSA have been working on together with the Center for Democracy and Civic Life. And the main event is, we come together and watch the presidential results come in is this coming Tuesday, November 3rd from 7 to 12 a.m. I would appreciate your participation. It's something that your organization has worked on. The people in the Department of Executive Initiatives have been working diligently on this. So come on out and show your support. And also don't forget to look at our Instagram on SGA. There's some free merchandise that the Center for Democracy and Civic Life is giving out for Election Extravaganza. If I'm not mistaken, there's about 40 or so free packages left, and it'll deliver it to your house or residence or wherever it is. So if you haven't already, go grab one of those. That is for my first announcement. Any questions regarding that? Yes, Courtney. Oh, never mind. Does Courtney have an answer or question? I can't tell.
That was an announcement.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And my second one is that the newsletter is going out and on the 31st. Appreciate it if you could share that with your networks. It's basically the work that we do, right? So I would appreciate it if you guys could tell your friends about it and be like, hey, I'm a finance board rep and this is what we do in SGA. And also if there's also a retriever reflection portion of the newsletter, and it's in the general WebEx Teams chat. It was posted by our Director of Extended Connections, Ekta Daryani. So if you have any reflections or any notes about how the semester is going, please fill out that quick Google form. It's going to take you less than a minute or two. And with that being said, also, if you have any final announcements or anything that you want to share, please send that to Ekta Daryani by the end of today, if so. But that should be everything on my end. Thank you all.
Courtney?
Hi, y'all. So you probably got an email from me earlier today about a survey asking you guys to complete it. I sit on an assessment review committee for student affairs, and for campus life, we created a survey to kind of gauge how students and faculty staff are managing, hosting virtual events. If you feel like the survey applies to you based upon the description, please fill that out. You have until November 13th, and it would really help us in moving forward and planning after COVID-19 and planning for COVID in the future or, next semester. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.
Rahman?
So the Center for Democracy and Civic Life initiative called the Journaling Project, where we kind of come together every month to talk about important topics with community leaders and everything. And we have like a certain topic every month, and we kind of share our thoughts about it. And the topic for this Friday is what is on your mind as we look ahead to the conclusion of election 2020. It's this Friday, October 30th, from 3:15 to 4:45 p.m. I'll send the link in the chat. It'll be awesome if you guys can come. We'll have encouraging conversations about stuff.
Speaking about the election, it is a week from today. We have voted to cancel that meeting. So you will have your Tuesday night free. Wow, cars just like to go by when I'm speaking. Tuesday night free to hopefully go out to your polling stations to help anyone you know vote. I actually have my ballot sitting on my bed right now, but I would just really like to stress everyone to vote if they have the opportunity to. Are there any other announcements? Going once? Going twice? Yes, exactly what Rashad said in the chat. But if there are no more announcements, we can go on to adjournment. And for final roll call, I recognize that Acha is present, Aaliyah is present, Joshua is present, Liam is present, Pooja is present, Rahman is present, Siri is present, Victor is present, as well as ex officio members Candace, Courtney, Tori, Tony, and Rashad. I think that's everyone. And I adjourn this meeting at 7:21 p.m.